Welcome back to the Greenhouse Music Podcast.
The best music class you've ever heard. It's the best music class you've ever heard.
It's Miss Delana.
Hello and welcome back to the Greenhouse Music Podcast, the best music class you've ever heard. Here I am, Miss Delana, and oh my goodness, friends, today is one of my absolute favorites. Woohoo! I have a question for you first, though, and I want you to really think about it. Have you ever been sitting there completely minding your own business and a song comes on and suddenly your foot just starts tapping and you can't control yourself? You know, like this one. Your foot that's tapping, you may be slapping your hand on your knee, you may be using your whole body. You didn't decide to do it. You didn't think. It just happened. At least tell me I'm not the only one that deals with that, right? Right? Well, there's a whole family of music that has been doing exactly that to people and their bodies for over 1,000 years. It's that kind of music that just gets you onto your feet before your brain even knows what's going on. Well, today we're going on a musical adventure through Celtic music. We're learning about jigs, reels, and polkas. We're hearing 3 incredible songs, and we're going to find out how a woman washing clothes by a river, a teenage girl dancing alone in a field, and a 7-minute television commercial break all changed music history forever. What? Yes, that's right. I mean, we're coming up on St. Patrick's Day here. There's literally no better time to do it. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first, what even is Celtic music? The Celt, spelled C-E-L-T-S, but you say the C like an S, so it's Celts like S-E-L-T-S. They were ancient people who lived across parts of Europe, including Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and parts of France, and they loved music with everything they had. That sounds very familiar because I feel that, and it turns out I have a lot of that in my genealogy. Here's the most important thing to understand about Celtic music. It was never meant to be quiet, sit down, listen carefully music. It was meant for moving. For dancing at weddings, for festivals, for the end of the long day at work, music for being alive and celebrating it. And that purpose, the body first, feet first, get up and move purpose, is baked right into the rhythm like a nice cake. And that rhythm is the secret. And today we're going to crack that open and take a slice of that cake to eat. Now I just really want cake. Anyways, in Irish traditional music, there are 2 main types of dance tunes, a jig and a reel. Not a fishing reel, which if you're from Alaska, that's where your mind went, or a YouTube reel. Not one of those. No, a reel was a different kind of dance. Let's start with a jig, though. A jig has a very specific feel. It bounces, it skips. It's in what musicians will call 6/8 time, which means there are 2 big beats in each measure, but each beat has little 3-note bounce tucked inside of it, and it's really fun. So it's kind of like 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. And that is kind of what it feels like. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Feel that? That little bouncy 3 sitting there in each beat, that is a jig. And your body wants to skip when it hears that pattern, but especially because it goes really fast. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, boom, 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 da 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 da. And it's so much fun. Your body just can't help it. It wants to move. Now, I want to play you one of the most famous jigs ever written, and I want to see if you've already heard it in your life without knowing what it was called. It's called the Irish Washerwoman. Take a listen. Okay, do you recognize that one? I know I loved hearing it as a kid, and I bet some of you have heard it before, maybe at a fair or in a movie or a TV show or at a parade without ever knowing its name. So here's the story of the Irish Washerwoman, and it is genuinely delightful and mysterious. Well, no one knows exactly who wrote it, and it has been around since at least the 1780s, so over 240 years ago. First printed in Dublin under the name The Washwoman, the melody itself might be older than that. Some music historians think it goes all the way back to an English dance dance tune from the 1600s. And here's my favorite part. The word Irish in the title, the Irish Washerwoman, actually only makes sense if you're outside of Ireland, because an Irish woman in Ireland doesn't need to be called an Irish woman. She's just a woman. It was the people who heard this tune in England and America that gave it that name, because to them it sounded excitingly and unmistakably Irish. Now, did you know the Irish Washerwoman became so wildly popular in the 1800s that a music critic complained about hearing it played on barrel organs every single street corner in London. He was so tired of it, kind of like a song that gets overplayed on the radio today, except the radio was a man with a hand crank organ walking down the street playing the same song over and over. That's how popular it was. It made some people cranky. And here's another fun part. A famous American composer named Leroy Anderson loved this tune so much that in 1947 he arranged it for a full Boston Pops Orchestra, one of the most prestigious orchestras in America. That ancient anonymous jig from a Dublin street got dressed up in a full orchestra clothes, played in a concert hall, and it was just as fun and bouncy and irresistible as it had always been. And that is the power of a great jig. It doesn't care what century it is. It just wants you on your feet and to get you moving. Now, here's another important thing to understand. Traditional Irish music was passed down entirely by ear for hundreds of years, much like other ancient music. There was no sheet music, no written notes. It was just parent to child, musician to musician. The music survived invasions, famines, centuries of hardship because people kept it alive inside their bodies and inside their hearts. Isn't that powerful? Okay, now that you've got the jig in your body, let me introduce you to the reel, because the reel is the jig's faster, more driven cousin. A reel is typically in 4/4 timing, so it feels a little bit different from the jig's 6/8. It's the same time signature as most pop music, but it goes fast and it has a different feel. Instead of bouncy and skippy, it's more driving and urgent, like your feet decided to go for a sprint without asking the rest of you. That's right. And you know 4/4 timing because we've talked about that in the podcast before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. That is how 4/4 timing feels. Feel how different that is in your body? Clap with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. It makes you feel more like you want to run versus the jig makes you feel like you want to skip. Both of them make you want to move. They just ask for different things. Okay, now here's where our story takes a fun and very interesting turn, because there's a third type of dance music that I want to talk to you about today. And it involves a girl in a field, a school teacher, an entire continent of people who simply cannot stop dancing. The polka. That's right. Have you ever heard that word before? Well, the polka didn't start in Ireland. It started in Bohemia, which is now a part of the Czech Republic in Central Europe. And it started in about 1830. A teenage girl named Anna Slezakova was working on a farm when she thought no one was watching. She started dancing by herself, just for fun. A little bouncing, hopping dance that she made up on the spot. A local school teacher happened to walk by, and he had never seen those kinds of steps before. He asked her what she was doing, and she didn't even have a name for it. He wrote down her steps, wrote down the music, and he started teaching it to other people. But remember, that was very common back then because you passed on songs and music through oral tradition. In about 10 years, the whole entire continent of Europe was doing the polka. They called it polka mania. It was in Paris, it was in London, it was in Vienna, and it was in New York. And people had never heard of Bohemia, but they were still suddenly doing this little Anna's little farm dance in fancy ballrooms. And when Irish musicians in 1800s heard it, especially in County Clare and County Kerry, they grabbed it, put a fiddle on it, sped it up, and made it completely their own. So what does a polka feel like rhythmically? Well, it's in 2/4 time, which has 2 beats per measure. Remember, the reel is 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The polka is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Just like that. There's big, small, big, small, big, small, big, small, one strong beat and one light one. Just like a little hop, a strong, light, strong, light, strong, light. That is the polka. Now, one of my very favorite polkas in all of Irish traditional music is called John Ryan's polka. And I want you to listen for this big, small pattern when you hear it, and listen for how it makes your body feel. You also might recognize it, but I'm not going to tell you why you might recognize it just yet. Let's take a listen. right, be honest, does it sound familiar? Maybe this will help you figure out where you've heard it from.
It's a fairy ring! If you step inside, you dance and dance until you drop!
Now you know it. Are you ready to dance? Let's do it. Here we go. Oh my goodness, I love that song. I love it so much. Did your foot move? Because mine absolutely did. That big, small, big, small, big, small every single time. That cheerful little hop just does not quit. Now, did you figure out where it was from? That's right. The Fairies from Bluey. One of my favorite episodes because it features John Ryan's polka, and that is so much fun. All right, did you know that most Irish polkas don't have named composers? They're just known as traditional, passed down through generations. John Ryan's polka has been played at Irish sessions, informal gatherings of musicians at pubs and homes for over 100 years, and nobody knows who John Ryan was. But his polka is still making feet move everywhere on Earth, especially now with the new generations that are watching Bluey, and they've got to hear an updated version of it. Very fun, huh? All right, so here's a little bit of a bonus fun story to talk about for St. Patrick's Day this week. In 1994, oh wow, I was only 2 years old. Someone took those ancient jigs, reels, and polkas and put them on stage in front of the entire world, and it was called a river dance. It was supposed to be just a 7-minute filler act for a TV show, and the crowd went so wild that it became a 2-hour show that toured the world for 30 years. Ancient music, modern stage, but the same irresistible feat. If you want to see it, ask a grown-up to search Riverdance Eurovision 1994 on YouTube. Watch the crowd. That's what 1,000 years of Celtic rhythm does to a room. All right, music makers, game time. And today's game is called Clap It Back, Celtic Edition. Okay, here's how it works. I clap a rhythm pattern and you clap it back. Then you shout out what you think it is, a jig, a reel, or a polka. Now, quick reminder before we start. Jig feels bouncy and skippy. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. A reel is fast and driving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. And a polka is a cheerful little hop. Big, small, big, small, big, small, big, small. Got it? Okay, here comes round one. What do you think that was? Clap it back. That was a jig. Yes. Did you feel that bounce, that little 3 inside each beat? Beautiful. Okay, here's round 2. Your turn. Go ahead. Did you figure out what it is? That is a polka. That's right. Great job with that. It's very clear and punchy with a big small. That cheerful little hop. Did you feel how different it was from the jig when you were clapping that? Jig has 3 inside of it. The polka just has 2. 1 big and 1 small. All right. What do you think? Is this going to be a tricky one? Let's do it. All right, what's that clap? Go ahead, try it. If you guessed reel, that's right. It's very fast and driving. Did some of you stand up? Some of you skip? Well, that's exactly right. You just did what Irish dancers have been doing for thousands of years. All right, are you ready to hear about what I've been listening to this week? Okay, so I've been listening to John Ryan's polka on repeat, as well as some other jigs, mostly because it's just been fun and upbeat and has kept me in a good, steady mood. My feet are just going all the time and I cannot stop. I just want to dance inside and out. Well, if you want to find great versions of all these songs, just search for John Ryan's polka, the Irish Washerwoman, or the River Dance on whatever music app your family uses. For the Irish Washerwoman specifically, you should look up Andre Rio's version. He plays it with a full orchestra and it's absolutely joyful, ridiculous, in the best way. And here's what I want you to listen to in all of these songs. Count how long it takes before some part of your body moves. Your foot, your knee, your head, your fingers, anything. I genuinely believe that for these songs, it is biologically impossible to make it past 10 seconds without moving. Try it and then report back. If today's episode got you excited about rhythm and music from other cultures, I have 2 perfect past episodes just waiting for you to listen. First, episode 54, Getting Jiggy with Irish Music from a year ago. That was our first big Irish music episode and where we went deep within the instruments, the history, and the sound of Irish traditional music. In this episode, that one are a perfect pair. Second, episode 56, Heave Ho, work songs and sea shanties. Because what we talked about today, music that was built for working bodies, music passed down through communities, through oral tradition, music with a beat that keeps people moving together, that is exactly what sea shanties were too. The connection is very real and very beautiful. All right, music makers, here's what I want to leave you with today. You heard these songs here that were so catchy, and nobody even knows who wrote them. And it's been making people move for over 250 years, and some even longer. John Ryan's Polka, a tune that nobody named, played at Irish sessions for over 100 years, and Riverdance, a 7-minute act that changed the world. All of these are so special, and none of these songs had a big marketing plan. None of them had a record label or streaming services or a music video. They spread because people loved them so much they just couldn't help but share them. They spread through bodies, through feet, through hands, music sessions, and dance floors. And that is the most ancient, the most honest, and maybe the most powerful way that music has ever spread. Not through speakers, but through people. Here's your creative challenge for the week, and I want you to make up your own 8-count dance move. Just 8 counts. It could be a skip, a stomp, a clap, a hop, a spin, whatever your body wants to do. Try doing it to John Ryan's Polka, or maybe even make your own. And here's my question for you to think about. If you were going to write a piece of music that made it impossible for people to sit still, what would it sound like? What instrument would carry the beat? I believe that there's rhythm inside of you that belongs only to you, so keep on listening to it. Well, that is all for today at the Greenhouse Music Podcast, the best music class you've ever heard. Happy almost St. Patrick's Day, friends. Wear something green, and if you happen to hear a jig or a polka playing somewhere, I officially give you permission to move. In fact, I insist that you do. And if you love today's episode, please share it with someone, a friend, a parent, a teacher, or anyone who needs their foot moved today. And if you leave us a review, it genuinely helps more families find the show. And it means the world to me. Now, parents and teachers, the worksheet for this episode covers what we learned today and the oral tradition concept and creative movement challenge. And it's a really fun one that I hope your kids will love. So go ahead and check that out. Link is in the description. Now keep moving, keep listening, and keep growing, kids, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye for now, music thinkers. Hey parents, do you want a free worksheet or book or page to go along with the lesson that your kids learned today? Head on over to green.myflowdesk.com/podcast to get our newsletter that will have a new worksheet or lesson to go along with each new episode. That's green.myflowdesk.com/podcast. The link is also available in the podcast description on each episode.